What's up, everybody? This is a special episode of A Cup of Crazy. Here we're going to be trying out some whiskey a buddy of mine got for me. I typically don't drink whiskey that much, so me and my cousin came up with this idea to make a whiskey cake out of it. So we're going to be doing a quick video of the whiskey cake as well as us trying out this whiskey. I mixed it with some H-E-B root beer that I got. So let's check this out. Here's our Texas whiskey my buddy Blake got for me, mixed with this H-E-B root beer. Let's try this out. That's good. What do you think of it, Steven?
Ooh, that is good. That's dangerously good.
If you're a fan of root beer, this H-E-B root beer old fashioned is the way to go. It's not too sweet. You get a real old school root beer flavor. So check it out for sure. So here we have our dates being cut and ready. First step is we're going to depit them as well as get them started in the boiling water. Let them soak for a little bit, 20 minutes, and then we will move to step 2.
Right?
So we added a little bit of baking soda. Now we're putting the pits in.
Well, not the pits. We're putting in.
Yes, we don't want to put the pits in, actually. We want to do the exact opposite.
Put the dates up.
Just put the dates in. We're going to let these puppies soak 15-20 minutes. And we see. Step number 2. We are getting 1 cup of butter and a cup of sugar and mixing it until smooth, correct?
Yes, sir. Mixing until smooth.
We actually forgot to buy our butter for the recipe, so we are substituting it with some canola oil. So a little hack there. So let's get started.
Boom, done.
Alrighty, step 3. We get our softened boiled dates and we put them in our food processor here to make a paste. So I actually just remembered my child was sleeping. So we are in the garage now to finish step 3, which involves getting the food processor going in the garage. So get your 9x13 pan, give it a light spray, and make sure you sugar it, and you'll be ready for the next step. So the recipe does call for sugar in the raw, but you can just get some regular sugar, maybe add a little bit of brown sugar. It's just to coat the bottom of the pan to add a crust, some caramelization on the bottom. And so you're gonna try to get a nice even spread, but as you can see, sometimes it's hard to do, but as we know with baking, not everything is perfect. Kind of like life, which is okay. So next step is fold in your date mixture into your previously mixed butter and sugar. You want to try to fold it in, so nice big open folds. You're doing perfect, Steven.
Thanks.
Slight revision. So in our mixture, the original recipe did not tell us that the flour and eggs went in before we added our dates to our butter mixture. So go ahead and when you're doing this, add your eggs and flour to the butter sugar mixture ahead of time. So we're going to be adding 1 3/4 cups now to our mixture. Just make sure it's slightly cooled off when you add your flour and eggs in.
Don't want to cook those eggs.
Yeah, scrambled eggs in a whiskey cake might not be the best. So the recipe does call for self-rising flour. We have just regular all-purpose flour. So we're adding a little bit of baking powder to the mixture to kind of give it the extra kick it needs. And then we have our 2 eggs here that we're gonna add. Like I said before, just go ahead and add these to the butter and sugar mixture that we mentioned earlier, so you don't have to wait for it to cool off. So after you get it all mixed up, nice and homogeneous, we're gonna go ahead and add it to your pan here. Beautiful pour.
Make sure you scrape the bowl.
That beautiful mixture. So now we're going to go ahead and put our cake in the oven. We're doing it at 350. How long are we doing it for, Steve?
30 to 40 minutes, or until a toothpick comes out clean. Like a banana.
So for the next step, you're going to need a cup of heavy whipping cream, 2 tablespoons of sugar, and then a half of a vanilla bean split. So you get it all mixed up and bring it to a simmer. And we'll move on to the next step. So while you're bringing this mixture to a simmer, we are going to get 2 eggs and another 2 tablespoons, and you're gonna mix them up together.
Of sugar.
Sugar, yes. Thank you for clarifying. All right, moment of truth. See how this cookie is? Oh, beautiful.
Look. Now we let that cool for just 20 minutes.
So then we get our egg mixture. Make sure it's nice and foamy. And then you mix in just about half of your heavy cream, vanilla, sugar mixture. Give it a good whisk. And you're gonna go ahead and mix it back into the cream mixture.
There's probably more vanilla in the other parts.
So then you're gonna go ahead and add half a teaspoon of your whiskey of choice and half a teaspoon of your vanilla. Get that mixed in there.
That's probably half a teaspoon.
So it's also 12:30 at night, as you can see. So we're supposed to go ahead and add the whiskey after we heated and made this a little thick. So just remember, as with life, just go with it.
Okay, actually, dang.
So while you're waiting for your cake to cool, just make sure your whiskey mixture is nice and thick. You know, it's going to be a sauce for the top. So kind of get that nice thick consistency.
Actually, this is for the bottom.
The top is the bottom, that is correct. So then you get your whiskey mixture and then you get it in an ice bath after you strain it. Make sure you get all the vanilla bean out and then you wait a little bit. Or alternatively, you can just get your mixture and so go ahead and flip your cake over a piece of parchment paper, throw it in the fridge, allow it to cool a little bit more. So now the cake is all cool. We have our sauce. Typically this recipe calls for a toffee sauce that goes on the top once warm. But as we stated before, we forgot the butter. So we're improvising a little bit. We're getting some caramel sauce and mixing it with our whiskey just a little bit to improvise. So then you get your whiskey mixture, plate it on the bottom, kind of set a nice base. And next we're going to put our cake and then top it with the warm caramel. Go ahead and cut your cake into nights. Then we go ahead and just top it a little bit with this caramel sauce, or toffee sauce as the recipe calls. And then the last magic step, if you want to go ahead and make the homemade Cool Whip, do it. But we got some beautiful ready whip ready to go. Look at that perfect spread.
It's almost empty.
Oh, it looks like it.
Got what we can. Get some of that whipped cream. Dink it.
And as you can see, we didn't like it that much. Thanks for hanging out with us. Have a good night. But first,
Lasagna.
so after you got your previous mixture all mixed together, you're going to go ahead and add 2 tablespoons of your whiskey of choice.
Half a tablespoon.
Well, half a tablespoon or so. Try not to make a cake at 10 p.m. And if you do, make sure you drink the whiskey after you start making the cake, not before.